And now, the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.
Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
I'm Andrew Sabo.
And we're back.
Yes.
It's been a whole week, guys.
7 days. 6, maybe 6.5, depending on when you listened. Or when it's released.
I feel like we did this bit already.
It's alright.
It wasn't good then. It's worse now.
Yeah, it's true. Is it your voice, or is it just the repetition? Is there less passion in our voices selling it?
Yeah.
Could be both. Do we scrap this? Maybe.
We definitely didn't do that last week.
Do we scrap this?
We recorded the intro twice.
Oh,
because we cut the first one out because we basically got off on a tangent like this.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, maybe we'll do that again. No, but we're talking about episode 493, Sheep's Clothing, this week.
Yeah, it picks up like literally right where the last one lets
Yep.
off, like seconds later, minutes later.
Minutes.
Yeah, it's got the soft, like, I guess the soft intro is just like it sounds more like Plan B in the
it's
and then it cuts into the scene.
Yeah, because it's the 5-word Chris and now Adventures in Odyssey, and then it just plays like the little intro.
Don't you guys miss the teasers? We don't have those.
I don't miss recording those teasers.
No.
Oh yeah, I mean it was fun.
Yeah,
but I'm always happy when I start to do an episode and I'm like, all I need is a music cue.
Nice.
Yes.
This
10-second intro, I'm in.
This will work.
All right.
Roll the promo?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Buckle up. This one is
special.
Yeah. Did you listen to it?
No. I didn't. I trust you.
Hello. I think I may have some information. On the next Adventures in Odyssey, Monica is in Alaska with Jason, trying to find a package Eugene sent him. Oh, I don't know, but it contains a disc that has information that people get very excited about. Monica seems very interested in Jason, but is she interested in the man, or does she just want the package that makes everyone act funny? Well, I guess the best way of finding out is to listen to the next Adventures in Odyssey.
They let the intro man do a bit.
Yes, they let the intro man do a bit, and he talks so fast he could have slowed down, and they would have actually filled the 30 seconds.
What is this? Him picking up the phone?
Hello.
So he's relaying all this over a phone.
Yes.
And what does he say? So they've got that disc that some people are very excited about. Like it's all weird, like, and then ribbing the audience.
Yeah.
There's the line of Paulo seems to be interested in Jason, but is it just him or is it his package?
Yeah.
Which wording?
Yeah. Well, no, it's the package that's driving everyone crazy or something like that.
Yeah,
or making everybody go crazy.
And the music is like weird circus stuff again.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's also, unless this is just a different guy doing the intro, he's doing a voice.
Yes, he's definitely doing the black and white, like, film noir detective thing.
Yeah.
His dame walked in, and her name was Monica Stone. She had trouble on her mind and red lipstick on her face, and then he moves on.
But first, let's dance.
Yeah, exactly. But we gotta wait 10 seconds so that the 30 seconds can be up. Then we can dance. Again, it's so bad!
But yeah, as previously mentioned, we start then the episode right where we ended.
Yeah, exactly.
With Borland back in action, walking in because the imagination station's been stolen.
Yes.
And now Borland's there to fix things.
But he doesn't really.
Not at all. Not at all.
He really, I don't understand his.
Yeah.
He's such a good plot device, but only when they want him to be.
Borland's, they do a good job of making him like an interesting character.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's constantly the show constantly makes obvious that Whit and Jason should just be the ones investigating instead of the FBI.
Because
and in
they
fact they
already
do.
know all
And
the answers.
oftentimes children are investigating
Yeah.
instead of the FBI.
Yeah.
Like I don't fully get it. So the note here that offers a nice bit of clarification on something we were a bit foggy on last episode. Borland asks to speak to Aubrey, and Whit says that he sent her home because it was late.
Yeah.
So that means that Aubrey and Erica weren't trapped in there all night.
Yes.
They were just trapped in there for an hour or two until Whit got back from Connellsville and then let them out.
Yeah.
Whereas I had assumed that Whit was just coming in the next morning.
Yeah.
Although
that
I
would have
guess
made things really uncomfortable.
yeah, I guess it makes sense though that like he wanted to check and make sure everything's closed up. And
Yeah.
he ran out in a hurry, so maybe he's got stuff left there. So he came back, sent Aubrey home because it was late.
And so they make the connection. Borland makes the connection between Mr. Colburn and Erica, and then obviously is like the FBI.
Yeah, I think actually Whit makes all the connections.
Yes, yeah. Whit
because
says
he
it out loud.
like spells it out to Borland where he's like,
Who is
you
she
know,
with?
Erica, who's a friend of Aubrey. And Nick.
And her dad works for Novacom.
Yeah, he took Arthur Dent's position.
Does he work for Novacom or Andromeda?
Novacom.
Oh, that's what I thought. Yeah, because he took Arthur Dent's job.
Yeah.
Okay. Literally just said.
Thanks, Andrew.
No problem.
The,
Just in case the listeners missed what I did.
Borland says your employees are awful careless with their friends, which is, oof.
Hey, that's
Like,
spicy. That hurts
Yeah,
a little
it
bit.
is. Well, especially because of all that was done. Like Nick, obviously. Aubrey really trying her best.
Yeah, to do
so
the good thing. And
it's I don't know.
you
Wick
know.
doesn't do a good job of standing up for her, but whatever.
it's obviously in that given circumstance, that's not going to be the front thing on his mind.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The other missed opportunity is that they're talking about the Wit's explaining the tunnel to Borland and says that the lock on the door was broken. And I really wanted him to say it was jimmied. Because as the sentence is progressing, I'm like, is he going to say it? Is he going to say, broken? I wanted him to say, the lock! It was jimmied!
And the lock was jimmied, and then I came in, and... yeah, and then there's a callback to Eugene's research and the package, which obviously is a big deal in this episode.
Yep. All about that package.
Oh.
What?
My notes autocorrected Eugene's research to eugenics. I just noticed that now. Different. That's a different thing. I just looked down and I was like, why is there a O?
The other thing that's just really weird passing comment is Borland says to Whit, I'm gonna need Erica's address and phone number, and Whit's like, oh yeah, I'll get that to you. What?
Whit has everybody. Or he's really good with the yellow pages.
Why is this guy who works for the FBI asking Whit for the... If it was Aubrey, I'd be like, yeah, sure, she's an employee. Erica is a person who has gone into his shop like 3 times.
Has she had any direct interaction
No!
with Whit? No, other than being, well, when she was let out.
Right, when she was let out. So, like, the best I can come up with is, like, when they got her out, Whit took down that information.
Yeah.
But that is... I am stretching so far for that.
Yeah.
I think we're just supposed to assume, oh yeah, of course Whit knows
everything.
It makes perfect sense that he would have the phone
Unless
and
he-
address
yeah.
for a random high
For sure.
schooler. Like,
Nothing suspicious here, God.
yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah. And so then the scene transitions to
Electronic score,
Yes.
baby. We are
back in Plan B.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yep.
So Jason and Paula are at this church, or at the church, I would say, at a random church.
Yep.
And Jason is starting to light a fire because apparently the power is out. And
No, the power's not
not
out.
out.
The heat is out. Because they later turn it on with the power.
Yes. Oh boy.
But he is rubbing sticks together.
To light a fire, which apparently they don't have any matches.
This is an A+ strategy for wooing a woman. It comes straight out of the Andrew Sable playbook.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Whenever like there's an attractive woman like walking down the street, instead of catcalling, I just start rubbing sticks together and see if I can light a fire. It's really bad when I go to the mall because they're just passing the other way, and I have to keep grabbing these sticks out of my pocket and going. Sounds like a herd of cicadas.
Oh man.
What's the term? Collection? Swarm of cicadas? I was trying to think of the term for a group of cicadas. A pride?
A cloud.
A cloud of cicadas. And he tries, and he is quickly called out by Walter as to trying to light a fire with sticks.
Yep.
On a gas fire. And he just flips the switch and it turns on.
Right. So,
which, I have a gas fireplace in my house. What the heck? I don't understand.
So, for those of you who haven't experienced a gas fireplace,
there's glass.
There's glass in front of it because it's gas.
Yes.
And also, the logs aren't real.
Yes.
Because you don't actually burn anything except for the gas.
Yes.
It in no way could fool you into thinking it's a real fireplace. There's not a chimney.
No.
There's, like, it's so...
Even if there's a fake chimney, it doesn't look real. Like, ours has a fake
they're
chimney.
shallow. They're, like...
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Yes.
What in the world, Jason?
Well, and this is after her being... him being like, I'll have you know, like, my fire making skills saved my life in Tibet.
Yeah.
And Monica calls him on it, and she's like, oh, like, I'm sure it has or something like that. And he's like, well, it was Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And so this is a double whammy for him of just trying so hard and failing so miserably. Yeah, it's a bad.
Yeah, it's
a bad move.
It's a bad bit. This guy is ex-NSA.
Yes.
He doesn't know the difference between a fake fireplace and a real one?
Yes.
Or he's so smitten with Paula that he doesn't think about it?
I mean, that's my thought. Because didn't Paula come into Wits End and Nick, like, died? Or something like that?
No, when they find Monica's picture in
like,
Mitch's briefcase.
Who is that? Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of looks like my neighbor who always talked on the phone. Oh, that's it! It's the phone! Oh, the good old days.
The good old days.
Wait,
was that in Plan B?
No, wait.
Nick and the...
Is it in Plan B? No, it's earlier than that.
Yeah, it was like secrets and stuff.
Yeah, it is. I think it literally is secrets.
Yeah.
What a digression.
Yes.
And then Walter was like looking over the dossier he was given on Paula and her backstory. And did you write down what the country was?
No, but
it's not real.
Definitely not real. And then it's apparently very small, which is probably why nobody knows of it or thought twice about second guessing it.
Yeah, but Walter's very surprised that Paula doesn't know Kenny Blaylock.
What a name.
I know.
Is also a secret agent, presumably. Maybe that was like Paul McCusker's imaginary friend
not
as a kid.
He's not a secret agent.
It sounds like a secret agent
Oh, it
name.
sounds like a secret agent name. Yes, but
what if it was like one of the writer's imaginary friends?
Who last names their imaginary friends?
I don't know. I'm just wondering where they would come up with a name like that.
Kenny Blaylock is a weird name, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, oh yeah. Most definitely.
And then Paula gets on the phone with Charles.
Yes. Which, okay, point that I would like to say. One, Monica is horrendous at pretending to be someone else.
Oh, yeah.
For a professional who apparently studies these people, which she says to Charles, like, and I know exactly what they're going to do. She doesn't know crap about where her character is from.
According to the FBI, she is, quote, an expert in high-tech espionage and is just falling apart.
Yes. Yeah.
And
she has can so poorly handle it without, like she doesn't change the subject and flip it back on him and be like, yeah, well, where are you from? And then, like there's so many just very simple ways she could have deflected it, and she's so bad at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they make
Charles brings up that she hasn't even seen the package yet. Her cover's falling apart. He also references the chairman.
Yes.
This is the second
time.
Heck is the chairman? The second time the chairman has been mentioned. He was also mentioned in one of the Plan B episodes.
Yeah.
As this mysterious guy who is running
everything.
Andromeda.
Yeah,
assumedly
CEO.
he's the chair or the chairman of the board or whatever.
Yeah.
He's Wit. The chairman of the board of the what's
the
encyclopedia?
Universal Encyclopedia?
Universal Press Foundation.
Universal Press, there it is.
Universal Press Foundation, which the chairman
owns
of the board.
Andromeda. Because Wit has infinite money.
What a twist that would be.
Yeah. This is really the left turn they didn't think it was taking.
Yeah. Oh my word, imagine that. Imagine if they did like a...
Wit is the bad guy.
Right. If they did like a Hail Hydra moment where you find out suddenly like, Wit's the villain?
Like, what? Yeah.
Wait, if he just Robert Redford's all of us? We're just like, that would
be insane.
It would be so crazy. They have...
Or Blackguard's still alive. Like, it just cuts to a scene of him meeting with Blackguard somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, Odyssey's never been particularly good at, like, the subtle long con.
No.
They tend to set things, like...
Yeah.
Pretty obvious. Like, honestly, Mitch might be one of the best ones. Like, the Mitch Aram reveal.
The best. I mean, that's the best one I can think of.
But even then, they introduce both characters, like... At the same time.
Yeah.
So there's
But I mean, I remember listening through it as a youth and not thinking that Mitch was there. I'm like, I remember finding out, what?
Oh yeah, it's a good reveal, and then he dies.
Yeah.
Let's not forget.
Because one, what the heck? Two, that doesn't happen in Odyssey.
Yeah.
Also, Paula suspects that Jason has feelings for her.
Yeah, he may even be in love.
Yeah, like give the package to me himself or something like that.
Yep.
And then
we jump over to Jason and Walter, and Walter hands him the package.
From Odyssey.
He says that it was forwarded from Ecuador.
Yes.
Which then explains that thing that we were trying to suss out a couple episodes ago.
Yes.
Where, because Jason wasn't in Alaska when Eugene shipped off the package, but he actually shipped it to Ecuador, and then they forwarded it from Ecuador to Alaska. Makes perfect sense, but then is weirdly confused later.
Yes. It's very weirdly confused.
I was like, oh, they fixed the problem, and then like 2 scenes later, a lady calls up Wit and is like, hey, I gave Eugene the wrong address. And I was like, wait, no, but you fixed the timeline and now...
You broke it?
You broke it. What?
Why?
It's a weird... That whole scene is a weird choice. We'll get to it.
It's like when you watch a little kid like make a tower and then they just knock it over and you're like, you made such a nice thing. Why? What did you do?
Well, it's not even that. It's like if they... It's as if Rogue One, which is a movie that is set up just to be like, and this is how we solved this plot hole of there's an exhaust port that was easily accessible. Oh, it was a plan from the beginning. And then like, so they reveal that it was this whole plan set up. And then like 2 scenes later are like, oh yeah, but it was actually an accident. Yeah. And it's like, wait, but this whole thing, this whole scene existed so that you could fix this issue. But now you're reopening up that issue. What?
What is the purpose of this movie? I don't understand.
Yeah. And so...
then we cut, obviously...
the only thing I want to hit on here is a weird comment from Walter. Mm-hmm. So Jason has Walter lock it up in the box.
Yeah.
And then,
Jason says, like, I need you to forget it's there.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And Walter then kind of brings up Monica and like, I don't know that she is what she seemed. She didn't know who Kenny Blaylock was. And also hits Jason with this line that says, you're usually more guarded about people you just met.
Yeah.
Which is a weird sentence.
Well, because Jason has no reason to believe that she's anything than what she says she is.
Yeah, it's like, I get that Jason's spy training could make him more guarded, but as someone who's doing missions work, you can't be guarded to all the new people you're meeting.
Yeah.
So it's this weird comment from Walter where it's just like, you usually wouldn't let this sort of thing slide. And the implication is, oh, Jason's being more lax because he's falling in love.
Yeah.
But Walter just, I don't know. He sells it in a bad way.
Yeah, I think he sends the message, but just using the wrong wording. Like,
yeah.
It's like, instead of being like, you seem to really like this girl, he's like,
right.
You seem like you are not yourself and you should be more distant and jaded.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Where he could have said, like, hey, like, you're maybe, like, taking things a little too quickly with this relationship. Or even just a casual conversation of, like, you seem pretty smitten with her or whatever. Would totally work.
Well,
but
and also,
this, like, you're supposed to be more guarded than this. Just
I don't understand why.
For
me. Oh no, I mean it felt wrong for me too. It's like why should he be? Yeah. I mean, I suppose all that being said, Jason is very, like, if he can't tell the difference between a gas fireplace and a regular one, like, I get that they're exaggerating it here, right? But wow, he just went from like this basically James Bond character / morally upright Jesus.
Yeah.
We get him in this like very boyish kind of human.
Yeah.
Very soft.
Right, all because of this girl.
Yeah,
it's like Andrew levels of like changing yourself for a woman.
Oh yeah. It just throwing off all these things, just hiding everything in like all the nooks and crannies of your personality. Like, yeah, it's bad. Things are better now. Things are better now.
Our next scene is a great one.
Yes.
This is Whit and Borland showing up at the
freaking
Novacom headquarters.
Yeah. Not the Novacom Kids Center.
Not the Novacom Kids Center.
You need a breath.
Novacom Kids Center. So we cut from there to a scene I really like. It's Whit and Borland, and they're showing up at Novacom headquarters to confront Colburn. The male secretary from the previous episode, not there.
Yes.
Whit makes a comment about that, and Borland says an all-time quote for me, "I'm the FBI. I don't need to set up an appointment."
Yeah. Which is, again, it's just like him being like, huh. And then later, when he finds out that basically Mr. Charles comes out of his office, they talk to Mr. Charles, which we'll get into, and he just kind of gives up. He's just like, he's rehearsed his answers too many times. Like,
yeah.
There goes all that confidence.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So Charles, they go in. Charles is like, hey, the Colburns are gone. They're on. Borland's like, Charles?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like they're clearly like Batman and the Joker. They're
very pre-existing bad feels.
Yeah, I like it. But he says that they've gone on vacation to the Bahamas. And then he also hits them. Oh, and Whit's kind of like, well, weren't you, like, last night she was there? That was a very abrupt vacation. He's like, well, I don't pretend to understand the whims of my employees or whatever. And then he goes for, like, the lowest blow.
Yeah.
And asks Borland, like, yeah, so how are things going with the Robert Mitchell thing? You ever find any evidence on that?
Yeah.
And it's like, holy crap, Charles killed Mitch. Like, I am not
just whipping it out.
I have absolute disdain for this guy, and I'm not even hiding it. He's doing it in that, like, the way, like, Lex Luthor comes across in everything, where it's like, I'm above the law. Like, I've planned everything out. Why don't you try
and touch me?
You can't. Exactly. Yeah. I've planned everything out. I freaking run the UN now.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
I am the president.
Yeah.
Like,
I have won.
Yeah.
But I've got laser vision. Dang it.
But that same thing of like, you can't touch me, like,
Yeah.
or the way like Doctor Doom does, where it's like, I've got diplomatic immunity.
Basically, that's
every
exactly
time.
it. Yeah.
You can't touch me because this is just a robot and I'm in Latveria.
That's exactly what that is. This is just a robot, and I'm in Latveria.
Oh man, sorry for the non-comic people here. Whatever. And so we then get
Borland just gives up, and he's like, "Oh, he's just rehearsed his answers too many
so they
times."
walk out. Borland's like, they went on a 2-week vacation, which is weird because Charles did not say 2 weeks. He just said a vacation.
Yeah.
Which I assume was just like a mistake in the script, and not like a hint, because Odyssey never drops hints that subtle.
No, never.
They always paint things exactly as you want them to see them. But I was like, does Borland have some like insider knowledge here?
Yeah.
He doesn't.
No.
I'm sure.
No.
But it is just a funny thing.
Well, and it's like very subtle expositional dialogue. So even if it was intentional, it was something so subtle that they wanted the listeners to know, but not make the connection.
Yeah. So they're gone. They're going on a 2-week vacation, apparently, which is a weird thing for him to say, because, like, it makes sense that Charles doesn't list a time frame for the vacation, because it's indefinite.
Yes.
So that it's weird it's weird that Borland seemingly has the time frame, and it's only 2 weeks.
Yeah. Like, where are they going? Well, or maybe it's like the whole like 2 weeks resignation situation, like a 2 weeks notice.
Yeah, but
why if you were fired?
It doesn't. It's just a weird writing error, I guess. Yeah, and then we cut to rom-com the episode.
Yes. Yeah. Then we cut to I don't know, the dinner show, I guess.
Yeah, with Jason and Walter cleaning up after dinner, and then Jason and Paula washing dishes together.
Yeah, and Walter just doesn't know what to do with the potatoes or the gravy. And is apparently across the house or something, because he is completely oblivious to the entire conversation.
I'm assuming it's a dining room kitchen situation, but
I guess.
But yeah,
maybe he's got earbuds in.
Paula is like, I don't know, cranking her like.
Charm.
I don't want to. Yeah, okay, charm. I was gonna say seduction, and I was like, that seems wrong.
A little bit though. Because there's some things that we'll get into it.
But
basically they get like
she just straight up starts by asking like, so why isn't there, or she asks why he hasn't been spoken for. Which is a weird way of asking.
Like, why are you single? What? Because I have self-destructive habits, that's why.
He says bad habits. She's like, what habit? He says, my habit of picking the wrong woman. Which is like, haha, Jason-y dad joke, which is kind of his thing. But also,
why? No. My bad habit
women leave you because of your habit of picking the wrong women?
Yes.
No. And also,
why?
I don't know.
He could have answered so many different ways. I mean,
they do get into
it, like he was engaged and it didn't work out.
To Tasha.
Tasha.
Not mentioned here by name, but I love me some Tasha.
Yeah.
And that was also part of it. The picking the wrong woman thing seemed like such a dig at, like, it's such a, like, and it kind of makes sense, honestly, the way he's delivering it.
Yeah, it was like kind of like it was supposed to be a joke.
It was jokey and this is jokey and flirty, and also as like a kind of gloss over. I don't want to get into this, but like, I have so much affection for Tasha that I just kind of took offense to this. Like,
ew, no, why?
Don't just like
don't badmouth your exes.
Yeah, don't. Especially not
this,
especially not Tasha.
Yeah,
Tasha's
such a good character.
Tasha's my favorite. Like,
and then you get because he talks about Jason being with Tasha, right, and being engaged, and then breaking up because they were a she was a non-Christian.
Yeah.
How did he get engaged to a non-Christian?
I mean, that happened in the show.
Was it
just kind of swept up in emotion, whatever,
Yeah.
and then
I don't remember the episode wrong.
I forget if it's Jack or Tom. Someone basically just like sits him down. They have a talk.
No marrying non-Christian. You'll go to hell.
But
Do we need to put you in the imagination station for failed marriages?
Oh man, I wish that was how every conflict was handled. It's just like, let's crank this to the extreme
Yeah.
and stick you in the imagination station.
Let's put you in an
you're
abusive
mouthing off to your parents? Let's stick you in the one where you don't have parents. Like,
Family matters.
it's just focus on the family. And so she's then like, also I don't like the oversimplification of his relationship with Tasha falling apart because she wasn't a Christian.
No, there was a lot more to it.
Yeah, a lot more to that whole situation, and
Yeah.
we should cover it someday.
Actually, yeah, definitely. That's worth
but-
it. And then we get
so she does that weird thing where like she clearly hasn't researched well enough what playing this part of the Christian intern is, where she's like, wait, that's a deal breaker for you?
Oh, that's a deal breaker for you?
And he's
it's
like, it's not for you. And she's like, oh, well, yeah. It's like, oh, you're so bad at this lying thing.
Yeah, why? My question is why? And then
Well,
Walter's this whole time just wandering around like, what do I do with the potatoes? What do I do with the gravy? And Jason's just like, what? Oh, I think we've got some Tupperware somewhere. And like, you do get this like, okay, the audio engineering is really good for this scene. I really like it. Can totally imagine it happening. But also, what the heck? It's like... I don't understand it. The logistics of it are kind of jokey.
Yeah. I think, Jason's so oblivious that it's just like, this is only a joke.
Yes.
But, and the implications are kind of, and then we later get confirmation later that Paula is like maybe doing a worse job at this whole espionage thing because she's kind of falling for Jason as well.
Because it is endearing,
and so...
Which... Okay, I just want to move this along real quick. So, Walter comes in, is a jerk to her, brings up the Strawberry Festival.
Because she accidentally drops her real hometown.
Yes.
This spy is just
so
like,
bad.
oh yeah, this is the hometown I'm from.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I read your thing and it said you were from here, and she tries to cover.
I
and
moved
then,
there when I was 8 or whatever, something like that.
And then he asks her about the Blueberry Festival.
Which was, we later find out, the strawberries.
Yeah, real festival.
Yeah.
There is actually a strawberry festival in Kirtland.
Good for them.
Kirtland, Ohio.
Well, I mean, I guess that would make sense if... I don't know. I presume that some of the writers from Adventures in Odyssey are from the area.
Yeah.
That it would be set.
They're definitely very Midwest.
That checks out.
Yeah.
And then Paula brings out cheesecake, which is the most sensual of desserts.
And also
laying it on thick.
the best.
Yes.
Like,
yes. Cheesecake is so good.
Oh, man. There are a few desserts that'll get me as much as cheesecake.
Yeah. I mean,
I love dessert categories.
Yeah.
Like, there are specific desserts I have more of an attachment to, but if you say, like, cake, I'm like,
Yeah, okay.
Or if you say, like, brownies, I'm like, could be good.
Yeah.
If you say cheesecake, I'm like, dude, I am in.
Yeah.
Give me the cheesecake.
Well, here's the thing. The ceiling on cheesecake is so high, and the floor is high as well.
Right.
Like, the floor is so much
a
higher
bad
than
cheesecake
regular
is
cake.
still, like,
cheesecake.
pretty decent, where a bad cake is like,
wow, this is dry, and I wish I just had ice cream instead.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, and even, like, I don't know if there's a cheesecake flavor that I dislike, whereas, like, you could pitch me, like, you know, an ice cream flavor that I'm not into.
Yeah.
Or be like, you know, this is a pie, and it could be, shoe fly pie or something I don't love, but cheesecake.
She's so good.
Every time.
Every time is so
Every
good.
time. You can go fruity, you can go chocolatey, you can go
like
other
caramel,
flavors.
yeah.
It's
And
great.
graham cracker crust.
Oh my word.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so...
Yeah.
Send us cheesecake.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
seriously. I will open a P.O. box just for your cheesecake.
If you can send me a picture of a receipt, I will open a cheesecake P.O. box.
The other thing when they're discussing where they're from and all that,
Yeah.
Jason says, I live in this place called Odyssey.
Yeah.
And, like, we get a little bit of, like, the Odyssey score
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
it, and it's just, like, supposed to be like, oh, yeah.
Oh, and then they
Great.
talk about him wanting to settle down there, like...
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, I can maybe settle down, too.
Yeah. Which is, it's worth noting, just because it is, like... It's when Jason and Paula become a little bit more real together.
Yeah. It is. It's that moment where it's like, oh, she's dropping her guard and she's not playing the character anymore. And then that's exemplified by when she screws up on her hometown.
And then Walter leaves.
There's a thing I really want to comment on.
Go for it.
Jason's saying, I live in this place called Odyssey. He does not live in Odyssey.
No, he doesn't, by any means.
They're talking about the fact that he's
He doesn't
a
even
nomad.
have a house.
No.
Yeah.
No. If he goes to visit, he stays with his father.
Yes.
Like...
Yeah. You could say it's his hometown, maybe.
Right. I'm from Odyssey.
Yes.
I grew up in Odyssey.
Yes.
My hometown is Odyssey. You do not live in Odyssey, Jason.
Yeah, no, by no means.
But whatever.
Okay, and then so Paula comes back to Jason's house for the ring that she left. She says, like, I left this ring. It was really nice. I need some place safe to keep it, which is obviously, Monica trying to get to where would Jason keep something valuable.
Right. And Jason is notably, like, edgy about it.
Yeah.
Like, he understands that...
That's odd.
Well, I don't think he necessarily thinks that it's odd.
But he understands what's at
He does not want anybody to know about the disc.
Yes.
And so he guards it and is like, I will put it in there.
Yeah. Which also, big gamble as to that's where the disc is going to be. You could hide a disc in a lot of less likely places.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea, though. When she
pretty
has
much
literally no leads.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no. Well, what I'm saying is, like, I could have just kept the disc under my bed.
Right. Yeah, it is one of those things where it's very much like the script was written so that Jason puts the thing in the safe and then Monica goes for the safe.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like hiding it under a floorboard.
Yeah.
In which case she would walk across the room and hear the creak.
Yeah.
Like, it's always going to be, there's got to be a way.
But get there when we get there.
Yeah.
And then Walter calls the missions board.
No, he calls Paul his dad.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And
they find out.
To ask her questions about her bio.
Yeah.
He says he's from the missions board.
Yes.
And then Paula,
her
dad's like, you want to just speak to Paula? And he's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And then Fran from the missions board calls Whit asking about Eugene, which...
Again, this scene we covered earlier, it's this weird, like, I send it to this place in Ecuador, or I gave him the wrong address, which is to a place in Ecuador, but he's actually in Alaska.
Right.
And
but it weirds up timelines.
Yes.
Why is she only calling now? Also, why didn't Jason call Whit and say, "Hey, Whit, I have the disc." Like, this piece is only useful in that it lets Whit know that Jason has the package.
Yes.
However,
it could have been found out in many other ways.
Right, if Jason had just called his father to say that his father's employee, Eugene, who is missing, sent him a package with Novacom stuff. Like, it's nuts to me that Jason didn't immediately call Whit. after we just had episodes where they were
calling
doing that
all the time. Yeah.
Like, they were back and forth on the phone so many times in Black Veil that it's nuts that now they're not doing it.
Yeah, well, and even last episode, wasn't it, with Twisting Pathways? They did the same thing as well?
Probably.
Yeah.
Like, it's... Yeah. It's
I guess
weird.
he's just tied up in Monica's...
Yeah, or he ran out of long distance minutes.
Maybe.
What's...
No, so Paula...
Oh, yeah, it literally jumps to Paula now.
On the phone with Mr.
No,
Charles.
I think is she on the phone with Charles?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because this is when the chairman comes in.
Oh, yeah, she mentions the chairman.
Yeah,
again.
the chairman will get what they want or something like that. And he's like, the chairmen are very impatient. Like, I can't keep stalling them. Which, again, he says them. One of them. Who the crap are they? But not really important.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at that point he's talking about the board.
Yes. Yeah.
Not because there's the chairman.
Oh.
Is like a singular person he refers to a couple times. But I think he's talking then about the board. But I could be wrong. Anyways.
I was always under the impression that the chairman used multiple people, but I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. And then
this is when she's at the safe.
Yeah. So the ring was a tracking beacon. Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
Because she has that, of course.
Yep. She's gonna crack. She's like, the safe will be easy to crack, and then Walter shows up.
Yeah. He's like, this will take me about.
And he's like, Paula, if that is your real name, or what? Like, it's basically that line.
Just so dumb. And then Whit calls Jason about the package.
Tries to play it off.
Yes! Yeah, she tries to play it off.
Her gut instinct is still to play it off.
Yeah, her gut instinct is to be like, oh, yeah, something about, like...
Played it off a little bit, and then I decide to pull a gun on him. Why did Walter confront her? Like,
yeah.
He's got to know a little bit about Jason's background.
Yeah.
But, so, involve Jason.
Why wouldn't she confront Jason... Or why wouldn't he confront Jason before confronting Paula?
Yeah. Or, it's just a weird thing for him, for him to go in, like, if she is faking that she's from the missions board, she is obviously up to something bad.
Yeah.
Don't confront her. There are consequences.
Yeah.
Which, in this instance, is just him getting tied to a chair.
Well, that's like if you found out that, like, somebody you worked with was a mobster, and then you go up and be like, yo, so you're a mobster. You don't actually work here.
Yeah.
How do you think this is gonna go? Oh, shooks, you got me.
Yeah, she says, I'm gonna basically, like, I'll shoot you unless you give me the combo to the safe.
Which apparently she can crack on her own.
Right. But then when Jason shows up, he's tied up and the safe's been broken into. Yeah. So she did not follow through on that threat.
No.
Or he did give her the combo to the safe, which seems crazy.
Yeah.
And then she tied him up so she could escape.
My guess is she tied him up so she could crack the safe.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know. It's keeping her hands somewhat clean to not actually have her shoot and kill him and keeping the episode, like, less dark.
Yeah.
But also, she does a lot of, like, just pointing around her gun and not actually doing anything with it. So, that's a thing.
Thank you, Monica Stone, for being bad at your job that you're supposedly really good at.
Yeah. We get great spy music transition here.
Yes.
And then Walter talks to Jason, fills him in, and then Jason goes to the airport to try and stop her.
Yeah.
Asks the receptionist, she's like, we only have 3 gates, which is funny.
Well, no, so Whit calls Jason and tells her, or tells him about the package, guard it with your life.
That's
and he's like,
right.
Oh, okay, this is serious. And then he's like, and then be on the lookout for somebody that's bald named, I almost said Ray Charles again. James Charles. Bennett. No, Bennett Charles. James Charles. Who's James Charles? That's somebody.
I don't
know. And then somebody with red hair named Monica Stone. He's like, red hair?
Yeah, because there is one red-haired person in the world.
In all of Alaska.
Yep. And it's...
And it's Monica Stone / Paula. This is when Paula and Walter have that confrontation, and Monica ties him up. Yep. Then Jason shows up. He races over there, unties Walter. Yep. Walter says that she's going to the airport.
I think Jason figures out that she's going to the airport. He says that she got the package.
And then, we're in the airport, and this is when Jason asked the flight attendant or whatever, like, well, we've got 3 gates, which is, that was funny.
Yeah, it is funny. And then he proceeds to like run, like he's like, oh, and then he's just like gonna start looking at the gates. He runs up to her. My only thing here was like, this, maybe it wasn't written. Maybe it was written pre 9/11 and that's the issue. But like, he is just like running around an airport wherever, like there's no, he didn't buy a ticket and proceed.
No.
He is just like running around checking gates.
Yes. Also, how would she have been able... I mean, I guess she would have packed her gun probably in her bag, so it wouldn't go off in security. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. She's got her ways. It's a plastic gun, something like that.
Yeah.
It's fine. So Jason confronts her. She says that she already emailed the contents of the discs.
Yeah.
And then
we get this weird kind of character building conversation with Monica, which, like, Jason's like super upset at her, and then she's like, well, what's gonna be like, it's gonna be your word against mine, like I didn't actually do anything, like she made it sound like I intentionally didn't do anything because this is actually for a good cause, like if you knew what this was about, you wouldn't be trying to stop me.
Crazy character turn for Monica, who has not seemed like a good person at all.
Well, and because she's so associated with Charles, it's kind of like you just group her into this implicitly bad, and then you're like, wait a minute, what are they actually doing? What is the significance of this?
They
like,
do
of the research.
Yeah, they really build her out in this moment.
And then she admits to, like, you know, over time I was actually pretending less and less to like you, like
and maybe if things were different,
if things were different, like if I wasn't me and you weren't you,
right,
or something like that. And then that's just where it ends.
We get
just completely abrupt, and then Chris is like, see kids, this is why you shouldn't trust people.
Well, it says your first thing is it sounds like Jason isn't going down without a fight, which I was like, are you becoming the announcer guy who does the promos? What's going on? And then the verse she does is from Matthew, and it's about false prophets. Which...
Well, because I mean, it gets its title from sheep's clothing, but deception is... There would be no way of him telling that this was deception. The point about the false prophets is that what they're saying does not line up with God's word.
Right. And, like, I guess we're supposed to get that by the fact that she was, like, okay marrying a non-Christian.
That's it.
And she decided to lie about going to a blueberry festival. But, like...
And if anything, it's backtracking on the potential humanization that they gave to her. Like... This, like... And you see, you shouldn't trust this completely bad character, even though we just made her less bad.
Because she's bad. Like, it's...
Like, oh, man.
Everything in Odyssey. And, I mean, I guess this is probably a reflection on evangelical Christianity in general, is so brutally black and white.
Yes. Oh, no, 100%. It's like, and you should have known better. And it's like, dang it, I should have.
There is no room in this show to be like,
I love you skeptically.
Let's be nuanced and like, hey, maybe people are, you know, on a spectrum and not all horrible. And so they're like kind of setting some stuff up with Monica there at the end. And then it's like, but remember, she's evil.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and then I'm going to the the discussion questions on the wiki.
What are they? I'm really
was
curious.
Jason wrong to trust Monica? Why or why not? I don't think he was wrong.
No, there was maybe some points.
There were some red flags.
There were some points at which he should have had a conversation, maybe with Walter and that sort of, like, he maybe pushed back a little hard about Walter. Against Walter, but also I don't think that he's wrong to trust a person.
Well, and especially I don't think he's wrong to trust somebody even in the guise of, like, thinking that they're attractive and having feelings for them and, like, whatever. You know, like, that happens. You get distracted. That's how life works. And then the second question is, Monica deceived Jason. Jeremiah 9:6 tells us that we live in the midst of deception. How can we tell what the truth is?
Oh!
If they know the difference between berry festivals. That's it.
Yeah, by trickery.
Yes.
And outsmarting them
Yes.
and getting them to be caught up in their own lies.
Yes.
And also by listening to the album The Truth Chronicles.
Yes.
A non-numbered album of random stories that Odyssey didn't have another spot for.
Yeah. Oh man. The Truth Chronicles. That was like the one album I had. Like I had
funny.
that on CD.
I think Kidsborough was released on
Yep.
that.
Yeah, Kidsborough, and then they do a bit about intelligent design on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All things considered, interesting album, but also what? It's all just about absolute truth and making other people wrong.
Right.
Being like,
I mean, that is Odyssey in a nutshell.
yeah. Which is...
We've got it all figured out. Now you guys get there.
Yeah, and now tell everybody how they're wrong.
Yeah.
And, I understand, like, the heart isn't that, like, we often are criticized for being mean to focus on the family.
It's true.
And, we are harsh, but in a lot of ways, they could be better.
Well, yeah, we could also be better.
True,
And also, like, we try to give credit where credit's due. There's a lot I love about this show. And it is, at the end of the day, a net positive on my development as a human being.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. Like,
So,
I would definitely, like, I think that what Odyssey does is really good. I think it's very helpful. I think it's good for child development, even just to listen to something like a radio show to, induce imagination as opposed to being, watching videos all the time and whatever.
Yeah, I would not enjoy making this show if I genuinely hated it and was just constantly ripping it apart. But I don't know.
But looking back on it,
what's the oh man, I had a good Bible verse and it just escaped me. But the passing judgment on people who on other people out of love. I feel like that's my relationship with this show.
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly.
I am passing judgment on it out of love.
I love it. And they're passing judgment on everyone else because of love.
Yeah. And because they have all the answers.
It's true. It is true.
All right. You got closing thoughts on the episode there?
Well, it was good. I liked it. It was a little disconnected in certain ways because the whole Jason being in Alaska has been kind of a B plot up to this point, but it does a good job of connecting it. I'm more excited for the next episode than I was for this one. I like that one a lot, but I think it was good. I think it's good overall. I think obviously I was really happy to have the good music back from like the Plan B music.
Yep.
Like I said, the scene in the kitchen where it is like really jokey and like rom-com-y is genuine, and it is a nice break from the spy stuff that we had been seeing, and rounding out Monica's character was a really nice touch because they definitely didn't have to. So all the crap we talk, that was nice.
I enjoyed the episode too. It doesn't stand out as like a iconic one, but it's a good middle of the road. We got some plot movement. We've got
when I think about the Jason and Alaska plotline, I do think about this episode.
Yeah, and we also get like it's doing development for Paula, but it's also for people who are just listening to Novacom doing some really good development for Jason
as well.
And you're getting continuing to get who Jason is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then it doesn't actually happen in this episode that he like gets on a plane to go back to Odyssey?
No.
Okay. Because he's definitely in Odyssey in the next episode and it's not touched on.
Yeah.
So
he definitely just yoinks himself back.
We'll get into it.
We will get into it.
In 1 week.
Do you have any promos?
I've got nothing to shout out this week. Why are you looking at me like that?
I was just waiting for you to stop and then say something else.
All right, yeah, so I got nothing to shout out this week. Yeah, I got nothing.
All right, neither do I.
All right.
Boring people.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time for the next episode, Box of Miracles.
Box O Miracles. No, there is an F. Box of Miracles. Bye.
Bye.
Wadfam Chalk Pod is a presentation of the Lidditz Podcast Cooperative. This show is a fan podcast and has no official affiliation with Adventures in Odyssey or Focus on the Family. As such, the copyright is ours under Creative Commons. Follow the podcast at WadFamChalkPod on Twitter and Instagram, or email us at wadfamchalkpod@gmail.com. Episode 22, Sheep's Clothing, was hosted by Dylan Weaver and Andrew Acebo, and edited by Dylan Weaver. And I'm Nathan Haverstick, hoping you'll join us next time for more of the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.